morning, sir. We are the Group 6. This topic is about cowboys and ranchers and the MANOBO PULANGION of QUEZON, Bukidnon. This is powerful and emotional passage is a narrative of historical injustice, displacement, and resistance, specifically focusing on the MANOBO PULANGION, an indigenous group from QUEZON, Bukidnon in Mindanao, Philippines. The MANOBO PULANGION people, like many Lumad groups in Mindanao, have been forcibly displaced from their ancestral lands due to the arrival and expansion of ranchers, landowners, and large corporations. This displacement began during the American colonial period and continues today, often with violence, deception, and militarized force. Despite these challenges, the MANOBO PULANGION continue to resist and defend their right to their ancestral lands. The first one, historical injustice and betrayal. So what happened? During the American colonial period, wealthy families, many of Spanish mestizo descent, and American businessmen began exploiting the land in Mindanao. They destroyed forests, built ranches, and took over land that indigenous people had lived on for generations. Like example, just like in Africa or the Americas, where native peoples were pushed aside during colonization, the MANOBO PULANGION experienced the same kind of oppression, losing their homes, culture, and livelihood for the benefit of outsiders. Second one is displacement and dehumanization. What was done to the Lumad? The communal forests, shared natural resources that sustained the Lumad were turned into private ranches. The indigenous people were fenced out, treated as lesser humans, and even killed if they tried to return to their land. Lumad people were reportedly skinned, salted, and hung from trees as warning to others, a symbol of extreme cruelty and land-grabbing violence.
The report Blood for Land chronicles the historical ongoing struggle of the MANOBO PULANGION people of Mindanao to reclaim their ancestral lands, particularly the area known as QUEZON. Rooted in rich oral traditions, their claim spans vast portions of Bukidnon. However, the arrival of American colonial rule facilitated their disposition, enabling settler elites like the Furtich and Montalban families to transform their lands into private ranches and plantations. The community not only lost access to vital resources and sacred sites but also suffered violence and systematic marginalization, resulting in deep poverty. Today, the memory of betrayal falls to continued resistance and efforts to reclaim what was once theirs.
I will share the story of the MANOBO PULANGION, an indigenous Lumad community in Bukidnon. First, ang ilahang yuta kabiwang. Ancestral land was taken from them for many years. It was fenced off by the powerful Montalban ranch and they were forced to leave. So and then in 2011, they verbally returned to reclaim their land pero gipugnan sila sa mga armadong gwardiya. So they had no choice but to build small homes beside the road. Dito, so travelers could see their struggles and feel their pain. So third, even though Bukidnon is rich in natural resources, the Lumad were pushed aside. Their ancestral land was turned into ranches, plantations, and mining sites, not for them, but for outsiders. So fourth, the MANOBO PULANGION chose to fight for their rights. Nagkahiusa sila and slowly, they started to reclaim their land. Because of this, the government started to take notice, but their bravery also brought danger. So lastly, Pablo Puling Lorenzo and Tagiasa Ayuta used fear and violence. He tried to divide the Lumad by striking some with unfair land deals and threatening others with harassment and even death. So their story is full of hope and hardship. It shows us that injustice, is still real today, especially for indigenous communities like the Lumad. But it also reminds us of the power of unity, courage, and standing up for what is right.
Government employees and speculating landlords in Bukidnon manipulated land records to open indigenous land for large populations. As a result, indigenous groups like MANOBO, PULANGION were forced to live on remote, less fertile lands. Dato Ughan and his group, Tinduga, struggles for years for claiming their ancestral lands, facing both government infections and violence for their security guards like to landowner Poli Lorenzo.